Okay, question number 1. The setting is important to the story because blank. A, the dog saw his reflection in a river. B, it was very hot that day. C, the butcher gave the dog a bone. Or D, the dog was very hungry. Who can tell me what answer choice you picked? Why do you think the setting was important to the story? Kylie, which one did you pick? A, B, C, or D?
I picked A.
Okay, and what makes you pick A? What's our proof?
Um, because on the way home, he happened to look down from the footbridge and saw his reflection in the quiet water.
Okay, and what happened because he saw his reflection?
Mm, the greedy dog thought he saw a real dog crying. I mean,
What happened? So he saw his reflection, and then what happened because he saw his reflection?
he saw a real dog with a bone. Um, and he wanted a much bigger bone than his owner.
Okay, and the dog he saw with the bone, was it a real dog?
No, it was just a reflection
No, that was
of
just
himself.
his reflection. So answer choice A is a great answer choice to pick. If he didn't walk over the bridge or didn't walk by the river, he wouldn't have seen his reflection. And if he didn't see his reflection, he would have just gone home with the bone, right? But because he saw his reflection and because he was really or he was feeling greedy and he thought, "Ooh, I could have two bones instead of just one bone." And he tried to go steal the other bone, he ended up with no bone at all. Okay, we can put an arrow. Let me get my arrow here. Here we go. So right here is where we see that he sees the other dog, or what he thinks is the other dog, and he starts to get greedy and he thinks, "Oh, I could have two, not just one." Okay, the dog's actions on the footbridge suggest that blank. A, the dog was kind to other dogs. B, the dog was in a hurry to get home that day. C, the dog did not think it was wrong to steal another dog's bone. Or D, the dog thought the other bone was his. Who can tell me what answer choice is the best one to pick for question 2? Should I pick A, B, C, or D? What do you think, Noah? Which one did you pick? Which one do you think is the best choice? A, B, C, or D?
C.
C, the dog did not think it was wrong to steal another dog's bone. Okay, why do you say that? What's our proof or our clue that the dog didn't think it was wrong to steal from another dog?
In the third paragraph,
Okay, what does he do in the third paragraph?
he started thinking about getting another bone.
He started thinking about getting the other bone, and what was he gonna do to get the other bone? What was he ready to do? Bradley? What was he ready to do to get that other bone?
He was going to dive after it.
Okay, he was gonna dive after it and get it from where? Because he's not just going to the store, right, Bradley? He's not gonna go buy one. Where's he gonna get the bone from? Because the first one he got from the butcher.
He's gonna take it.
He's gonna take it. But he thought he saw a different dog, and you're right. He was just gonna dive in and grab it, right?
Yeah. He's ready to just.
Okay, and I agree with Noah. I think answer choice C is a great answer choice. Because of what the dog did, because he didn't stop and think, oh, you know what? I'm really hungry, but it's not okay for me to steal from other dogs. And he didn't worry about it at all, did he? He didn't stop and think, oh, you know, maybe I shouldn't be stealing. He just saw the other bone and he thought, 2 bones for me. That's it. Don't even have to think about it. So he doesn't have any problem with stealing another bone from a dog. Number 3. From which point of view is this story told? A. First person because the narrator is in the story. B. First person because the narrator is not in the story. C. Third person because the narrator is in the story. Or D. Third person because the narrator is not in the story. Oh, okay, so you see some similarities between the story and what we talked about with Miss A. That's good. That's a good connection to make. So that would be a text to world connection. Or unless Miss A had like a video or something that showed this to you. Was it from a video, Alexa, or was it just like you guys talking?
No, she was just talking about it, like not to steal or.
Okay, yeah, so that would be a good text to world connection. Okay, and then we did A, B. Okay, C, third person because the narrator is in the story, or D, third person because the narrator is not in the story. Who can tell me for question 3, what answer choice did you pick? A, B, C, D. Kylie, what'd you pick?
D.
D. Okay. Third person because the narrator is not in the story. It's a great answer choice. Remember, if you think it's going to be a first person story, you're going to see the word I a lot. It's going to say I, or they might use words like us or we, because the narrator, the person telling you the story, is telling you a story about themselves. I went to the store and then I saw, I don't know, my mom. So we went to the other store and then we got a chocolate cake for the 2 of us. So they'll use words like I and we and us. But in this story, they don't use the word I. You might still see it a few times, but you won't see it very often in a third person story. Yes, Alexa.
I remember my teacher said this in 3rd grade, but why don't they put second person?
So second person is one, there is a type of story or a type of point of view called second person, but it's one that not a lot of people write in second person, and it's not one that we see too often in 4th grade, which is why we don't really talk about it. We talk more about first person and third person. Second person, Alexa, is like if you tell me a story and then later on I tell someone your story. So when you're telling me the story, you're telling me in first person. I went to the store to buy a cake. I really wanted a chocolate cake, but all they had was vanilla. So I went ahead and I bought a vanilla cake, but then I bought chocolate sprinkles and I put them on top of the cake. That way it was kind of a chocolate cake. So that's you telling your story, right? Later on, if somebody tells me, hey, what did Alexa do today? And I could tell them, oh, Alexa went to the store and she wanted a chocolate cake, but there wasn't a chocolate cake. So instead she got a vanilla cake and then she got some chocolate sprinkles and put them on top of the cake. So second person is like when someone tells somebody else's story.
Oh, okay, thank you.
No problem. But again, it's not something we see a whole lot. A lot of people will either write in first person or they'll write in third person. Second person is more, again, like when someone's telling someone else's story. Or another way to think about it is like when people are gossiping and they're telling you, ooh, Alexa, do you know what so-and-so told me? Well, so-and-so told me this. That's second person. Because they're not talking about themselves, they're talking about somebody else. Yes, Jadine.
I'm ready for the last question.
Oh, you're already ready. Okay. So, Jadine, what's the theme of this story? What do you think the author wants you to learn after reading the
I
story?
think what author wants us to learn is to not be greedy,
Okay, and why do you think that?
because the dog was greedy and he just ended up not having a meal.
Okay, I think that's a great way to put it. So, what's the theme of the story? We can say that the author wants us to stop being greedy.
And my
And
evidence is the greedy dog saw the real dog carrying a big bone. The greedy dog decided to steal the dog's bigger bone because it was much bigger.
okay, I love the way you put that. So the greedy dog saw another dog carrying a bone and decided to steal the bigger bone. Now I have a question for you all. If the dog is seeing the reflection in the water, he's crossing over a bridge and that's where he sees the other dog with the bone. If the dog is seeing the reflection in the water, how come the reflection looked like it had a bigger bone than he did? Because it's a reflection, right? It's actually the same thing, but why does he think the other one's bigger? Christopher?
Because of the water can move, like it's moving.
Okay, that's a very good point. The water is moving. Real quick, raise your hand if you've ever well, like if you've ever been on a boat, like when you're fishing, or if you've ever been to a lake. If you've ever been to a lake or you've ever been on a boat. Okay. So those of you that have might know this. If you haven't, you can kind of see it if you look like in a swimming pool, but if you're on a lake and you look down at the water and you see yourself, you notice that it's not like looking into a mirror. It's not perfectly straight and smooth. Your reflection kind of like wobbles and wiggles because the water isn't standing perfectly still like a mirror is. In the water, it's moving. So your reflection is like moving all over the place. It's wiggling. And sometimes it looks much bigger and sometimes it looks much smaller depending on how the water is moving. I think Christopher's right. I think because he saw the reflection in water and not in like a mirror, the bone looked bigger than what it really was. Okay. So make sure that we have our answers correct here. Oh, sorry. I have to put that arrow for Jadine's proof. So let's see. Oh, here we go. So he saw the dog carrying the bone. He said how nice it would be to have that large bone instead of just this small bone. So the reflection made it look like the bone was bigger, but really it was just the same bone. Chase, Jadine, did you have questions or was that from earlier?
Sorry, that was for
Okay, just checking. Okay. Make sure we have our questions fixed, and then you can go ahead and close the DCR for today.